So because of mass pressure and because they actually put a Looney Tune in charge of that only helped because I am of the belief that this backlash would happen no matter what. Because how the fuck the biggest liar in recent human history, the United States government, and Rand Paul made the same argument.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, feel free to interrupt me today, Tom.
No, I'm gonna bring it up, but I continue with that. I'm gonna bring up the video so we can have a little quick flashback as you're talking about it.
So, and I'm gonna cover this part too after CJ share his link. The liberal response to this, Washington Post, Taylor Lawrence, the famous Washington Post, she in charge of doing hit jobs and providing cover for the neoliberal establishment. She recently went viral because she had this segment on MSNBC and CNN where she melted down, where she was like, "Oh my God, people are cyberbullying me," even though her job is literally doxing people, literally attacking people. I don't care about the live the TikTok person at all, but she wrote an article doxing that person. But then she goes around like, "Oh my God, people are so mean to me," as if she's not one of the most privileged people in this goddamn country. You literally got a job at the Washington Post. You literally got a platform on. We don't like it, but it's literally the country's newspaper. This almost like the New York Times and the Washington Post is like the paper of record, even though we don't like
paper of record. New York Times is absolutely the paper of record, which is ridiculous.
Is one of the most privileged people of all time, and then she did this whole crybaby job, even though she's an assassin of the liberal media establishment. So anyway, the point is that same person, unsurprisingly, coming out in defense of Nina Jankovic and the Disinformation Board, because she is painting this as, oh my God, the Biden administration didn't control the narrative. The right wing had took a character assassinated this brave patriot, Nina Jankovic.
Oh my God! When I was reading it, I literally thought they were talking about somebody else. I'm like, who? Because I only knew her first name. I didn't know her last name. I'm like, who else? Who is this Miss Jennifer Jankovic? I'm like, who is this? Like, they cannot be talking about the same person. I'm like, when I was reading this article, I'm like, what the hell are they even talking about? But this video here, Nick, just to give context for those that didn't see it.
This is a good video to watch.
Watch this, Rand Paul.
Do we have policies? Do we have guardrails? Do we have standards?
But here's the problem. We can't even agree. We can't even agree what disinformation is. You can't even agree that it was disinformation, that the Russians fed information to the Steele dossier. If you can't agree to that, how are we ever going to come to an agreement on what is disinformation so you can police it on social media? I think you've got no idea what disinformation is, and I don't think the government's capable of it. Do you know who the greatest propagator of disinformation in the history of the world is? The U.S. government. Are you familiar with McNamara, the Pentagon Papers? Are you familiar with George W. Bush and the weapons of mass destruction? Are you familiar with Iran-Contra? I mean, think of all the debates and disputes we've had over the last 50 years in our country. We work them out.
Bodying this man.
Government being the arbiter. I don't want you guardrails. I want you to have nothing to do with speech. You think we can't determine speech by traffickers is disinformation? You think the American people are so stupid they need you to tell them what the truth is? You can't even admit what the truth is with the Steele dossier. I don't trust government to figure out what the truth is. Government is disseminating disinformation.
That last line, government is largely disseminating disinformation. Like, only as Rand Paul can do it. I'll pass it back to you, Nick.
Whew, man. I got a lot of issues with Rand Paul, but he did us a great service. He gave us a clip that we are going to use for the rest of our lives. Like, you're going to be watching RB in 10 years from now. I'm going to pull this clip up. I'm going to still be like, yo, well, listen how Rand Paul explains how we the largest purveyor of disinformation.
Let me also take this opportunity to point out something else completely off topic, but is very relevant. And that is, this gives you a glimpse on what a coalition could mean. Now, we disagree with Rand Paul on like 95% of everything, but on this point, he's spot on. Yep. This is what coalition looks like. It means you're coalitioning on a specific targeted issue. And it just so happens And with the libertarians, when it comes to privacy, when it comes to war, that is an overlapping issue. Go ahead.
And we just beat them. So the thing is, when you form coalitions, it's literally laser focus on that goddamn task. Yes. I can rip Rand Paul for a whole stream. I've ripped on her many times before. But we have a laser focus. Together, we're going to take out this disinformation board. And together, we did that. And now we're done. That's it. Like
now it's over.
Now we are moving on, right? And this is what the liberal establishment, including Taylor Lorenz, is not including, because they are making this all about cyberbullying. Oh my God, it was mean to Nina Jankovic, and the right wing pressured them. No, you guys had Senate hearings, and you guys was destroyed. Everyone destroyed you guys over and over again from independent media. I literally seen even some liberal skeptics like, whoa, this is pretty fucking crazy. Having disinformation board. Like, and then another point I want to bring up, because you just played the Rand Paul clip, but there's so many ways I can break this down. But think about what he just said. Now, this kind of goes veering off, but not really, because he said the United States is the biggest purveyor of misinformation. And this is why the disinformation board was always ridiculous at face value, because we all know that. Rand Paul would actually read this, and isn't that like an official record now? I don't know how, like, if it was that formal of an event, but it's like he on the Senate floor, he explained all the many lies the United States have done. He explained how we won the largest purveyor of misinformation, and they know this. You guys think Rand Paul is the only senator who knows this? So think about what this misinformation board is really about. The disinformation board disbanding is a big L for Ukrainian propagandists, because they was going to rely on this so the U.S. government can label anyone who debunks the Ukraine narrative. Just for example, they was going to use that to attack anyone like us, like the gray zone. Think about all the people who debunk the Ukraine NATO narrative. They was going to use the disinformation board to attack anyone who challenged U.S. empire propaganda. That was going to be the point. Go ahead, CJ.
I don't understand. If they were serious about this, why would they put this person as the head?
Oh no,
that to me is almost like, are you trying to not do this? Because you know what I mean? With all of the things they love to list, like in the Washington Post article, you're talking about all the things. Oh, she's this, she's that. But they're missing all the the list of crazy things that she does, and that shows her partisanship. So how are you going to have a board of truth and you have a partisan on it? Like, that is what's weird to me. Their strategy of using her is weird to me.
Yeah, and that's why this was doomed to fail, and this is why they got destroyed, because people were pretending that she was like cyberbullying. No, people were looking to her past, and she pushed Russiagate. The person that's on the misinformation board was the largest advocate of Russiagate. So
they still haven't admitted that that's misinformation. They still haven't admitted that. Like, we have all the investigations have admitted that, but have you seen a Democrat come out and say Russiagate was misinformation? You haven't seen that. So they can't say that. They can't say what she said about Russiagate was wrong and ridiculous. They just have to act like, oh, nothing was wrong. It was a mishap. It was a mischaracterization.
She also was covering for Hunter Biden when Hunter Biden corruption with Burisma in Ukraine was revealed. She was like, oh no, this is misinformation. Nope. She said that during the Hunter Biden laptop scandal. So people, the backlash was like, okay, you guys have this obvious partisan actor at the head of this Ministry of Truth. And what I brought up when I did my initial coverage of this, and I tweeted this as well, I was playing to my liberal neighbors, right? So Biden set up this. So even if you're significantly to our right, if you're to our right and you support the Democratic Party, think about how stupid this is, CJ. You're going to create a DHS, Ministry of Truth, right when Donald Trump is literally favored to defeat Joe Biden in 2024. Guys, what do you guys think is going to happen to this Ministry of Truth once the Republicans win? Just like Obama built the cages that Donald Trump used, They were really planning on building the infrastructure so we can have a right-wing crackdown. Well, both parties is right-wing crackdowns, but a Republican crackdown all
Could you
misinformation.
imagine who he would have as the head? Could you imagine who he would have as the head? Just think
Not
of all
handy.
the worst people that he could think of, and they would be the head.
Imagine Stephen Miller, head of the misinformation
Yes.
board. That's
Yes.
the precedent that these dumbass liberals are setting up. And I just brought that up, like, bro, you don't even have to be a leftist. You don't even have to be anti-democrat to me to saying, like, guys, why would you even set up this infrastructure? Especially considering there was a new poll I saw. I wasn't planning on reporting it because, like, whatever. But I saw this today. It was like the new poll shows it gives Biden like slim to no chances of defeating Trump in this new poll. So it's all but guaranteed, unless something crazy happens, that Donald Trump or Republicans going to win 2024. So you guys are literally just building an infrastructure for them to use.
Which is crazy.
You guys think they're going to take it away? No, they're not going to take that away. Go ahead.
It's so ridiculous. But the thing is, Nick, maybe that's why that woke them up. Maybe they realized, wait a minute, now we're going to lose. And if we lose, that means Trump is going to be all over this. So maybe we should not do this. Maybe that was it. Or they saw the backlash and they said, wait a minute, liberals are against this. Even our own constituents, the left, the right, libertarians. This is a no-win situation.
Yeah, you guys know I pay attention to discourse, so you guys got to believe me. Like, there was the hardcore Jen Psaki stands. They was all for this, right? But I even seen some liberals. I even seen shit libs that was like, yo, I don't know about this. And I'm like, bro, if you guys are losing them, I don't know about that. There was a horrific decision. But don't get twisted. I saw someone else in the comments mention this, and I was going to bring this up as well. They're not stopping this initiative of labeling anyone who's critical of the government as misinformation. Like, they're just changing strategies. They're like, oh, fuck, we fucked up. I don't know why. I still don't know why they decided to go public with this. As soon as they announced it, I'm like, why would you even do this? Are you guys giving us ammo to attack you with? They've been doing this in secret for a long time. They decided to put a face on it.
They're so afraid. They're so afraid. They have nothing to offer. But let's read friend of the show, friend of the network. Shout out to Aaron Mete. I know I always say Mate, but when he was on the show, he said Mate. So I'm going to say it like that now. So this is his tweet. Translated into actual journalism, online attack means pointing out that the head of disinformation governance board is a partisan actor who has spread disinformation, and also that the government, a purveyor of disinformation, has no business policing it. This is Aaron Mate, and he's referring to the Washington Post article that Nick has been referring to. I'll put it up on screen just so I can read a couple of spots here. Yeah, that to me was just ridiculous, right? Is there a particular part before I find my part?
Yeah, you can just read it. I'll just comment whenever.
Yeah, so oh shit. Now I don't have a membership here. I don't know how to get this.
I was gonna just read a tweet because the whole article is ad blocked.
Just think about that though, Nick. Newspapers where American citizens are supposed to get their information about the government, what's happening in the world, there's a paywall to get that information.
Yeah, let me share.
That's ridiculous to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm gonna
share that down if you got something better, easier to share.
I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna share Taylor Lorenz insane tweet thread about this. I'll take this off. Look at this, because this is the messaging that's coming from Biden allies in their state media. This is state media, and that's going to be clear when I read this to you. They are trying to paint, and I told you guys, everyone in the political aisle, other than a very small segment of voters, the people who like Joe Biden's tweets unironically, the non-bots, they're the only people that was down for this. I seen people I disagree with. I was like, damn, I don't like that motherfucker, but at least he on this. But they're pretending that this was taken down due to a right-wing troll campaign. Now I'm gonna read this up. I think I prefaced this enough to stream. So this is Taylor Lorenz, the propagandist. The pause of the newly created Disinfo Governance Board comes as its head, Nina Jankovic, has been the target of vicious, coordinated right-wing attacks. Bro, my whole timeline has been ripping her. I've been having a blast on my timeline. Like, it's easy. It's easy. You get a ton of like just ripping her. Right wing, left wing. I've seen everyone memeing her. But you see, according to the Washington Post, this is
you're trying to change the narrative. You're trying to change the narrative. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, CJ. You can interrupt me anytime.
No, I'm just to point that out. They're trying to change the narrative, and those words that you highlighted when she's saying those words are surgically placed there.
Yeah.
Coordinated, right wing. If you take those out and just read the article without that sort of salsa, if you will, like dressing on top. If you were to read it, it's almost a completely different story. So this is really just to rile up and explain to the base that still believes in this, Nick. That's who this article is speaking to. Is explaining to the base that still believes in this. This is what really happened. The right-wing people came after us.
They will believe it. And the people who like Joe Biden's tweets, the people who like this tweet, the non-bots. It's like 2/3. Maybe I read the article wrong, but isn't it 2/3? So just do the math here. 2/3 of the real. Yes. Go to every single Biden tweet. 1/3 of them motherfuckers are real. So that's cause concern to me. That's still a lot of people. Those are the people who are gonna read this shit and they're gonna think it's real. But it's very interesting to me. Go ahead, CJ.
No, go ahead. This is completely. I'm changing.
Oh yeah, it's very interesting to me the completely different reality that's being set up here than what we already laid out on the show. And anyone who's just been following this story from day one, like if you would just maybe like let's say you work 80 hours a week, you don't pay attention to news. This is the first time you're hearing about this disinformation board. If the first time you hearing about a disinformation board only came through this article, you would have no idea what's going on. Because now look at this next tweet, because it gets crazier, CJ. Look who they blaming for this.
Oh goodness.
They saying Jankovic, she's paying her as a victim that was set up to fail by the administration because the administration was unsure of its messaging and unprepared to counteract with a coordinated far-right online campaign against her. You see how she is painting a completely different picture than reality. The reality, now let me fix this headline if you guys are confused what I'm talking about. The reality is Biden announced the DHS Disinformation Board, and then they faced a wave of criticism, and they lost public favor. And you see how instead of saying this is something that was unpopular among the American people, she's paying it as, oh, it was just the Biden administration being incompetent. It's because of far right. No, this fell because the people, the proletariat, did not approve of it. You dictator.
And she don't want to say that because everything, just like the whole Buffalo shooting, everything for people that participate in the blue-red game has to be framed back into that. Has to be framed back into red versus blue, and that's what she's doing here to say we're putting this down. And I'm literally believe she's speaking to the people who steal. Like, what did you say? The 1/3 that's real, who really believe that. She's speaking to them so that they don't start to believe some of the criticism that everybody's hearing. Let me tell you the real reason, everybody that supports this, what's going on. It's because of those right wingers over there. That's the reason why. When it's as if the left wasn't
roasting them. Like the left was, everyone was. I swear to God, I don't even want to say names because even channels I don't like put out videos like, yo, I don't know about this, bro. Like that's how bad it was. But sorry, TJ, I interrupted you.
No. That's a perfect point.
This is the next tweet I want to read because I'm showing you guys the propaganda. Like you left shit out, the propaganda report, whatever you want to call it. This is what we do, right? Now look at this. Look, this next one. You see how they're completely changing the story? The story isn't the public rejected this disinformation board because you guys are literally sliding into fascism. That's not the story. The story is about poor Nina Jankovic. It said Jankovic is currently evaluating her position within the department. After attempting to defend herself and her reputation online, she was told by the administration to stay silent while enduring unrelenting attacks and violent threats. You see how she's making it about something it's not? So I can have fun and I can just roast Nina Jankovic, but as goofy as she was, that is not the reason why people was upset at this. That was just like something we can latch on. Look at this goofy motherfucking party.
They're playing the victim card, but the victim card works so well in the liberal community, Nick. The victim card works so well in the liberal community, and that's what they're making her out to be, like some sort of victim. They did this with Neera Tanden. They couldn't do it with Rahm Emanuel because everybody hates that guy. But it's the victim card. You're attacking her because she's a woman? No, Hillary Clinton is terrible. Not because she's a woman. But that's the victim card they wanted to play, and they're trying to use it here too.
I like the idea of having lot diverse representation, but I want you guys to understand that is not why liberals do this. Liberals do not put these women in position of power because they have this fucking moral belief of diversity. They do it because they're like, if you put a woman there, you can say you're sexist if you attack them. That's why they try to prop up Kamala Harris. Fortunately, a lot of people are not falling for this. This is one of the strategies that's just not working for the Democratic Party. Now look at this, because you know they're going with this angle, because now it gets even more ridiculous. A 15-year-old veteran of DHS called the department's response to the controversy mind-blowing. Not the idea of having the Ministry of Truth. That's not the bad part. It's the fact that it failed to protect Janukovic. That's her criticism. Her criticism is not the idea of the disinformation board. It's that DHS and the government lapdogs in the Biden administration didn't do enough to protect the head of the propaganda machine.
Nick, to me, it's becoming clearer and clearer every day which journalists is on the ruling class side and protecting that class and everything that they want, and everybody else. And it's way lopsided, Almost the entire New York Times. I mean, of course, Bloomberg News, Washington Post. Like, why do these voices, Nick, get space, get airtime on papers like Washington Post, the Bloomberg? How come we would never see an article saying disinformation board is complete fascism? You'll never hear that on any of these sort of.
If you do, they be gone. If that slipped through somehow, out of there. You out of there, bro.
Be out of there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Before we move on with the conversation, just want to shout this out. Make sure you like the stream. We're doing good. We got 300 some people watching. Let's see if we can get to 400. Shout out again. I know is Dr. Jill Stein hooked this up and got a lot more people. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We are a leftist. I'm comfortable with saying Marxist organization. We do mutual aid. We're about propaganda busting. We're about building community. We're about coalition building. So if you're here new, make sure you subscribe, like this. We're at 216 and we got 335 people watching. So that's another 100 likes we can get.
We appreciate the support, fam, especially since we hit like 17.2K subscribers. So you guys are smashing the sub button and we appreciate it. We are only growing because you guys are sharing. And I already hear people saying our videos are buffering. There are a lot of shady shit YouTube is doing to our page. So we appreciate you guys for having our backup. Yeah. So I can continue to read the rest of this tweet thread, but I think you guys get the point she is making. Just real quick, the rest of this tweet thread is just painting Janukovic as a victim. Every single day, right-wing media and far-right influencer flood the internet with smears and attacks about her and her work. So I don't have to read, it's literally a whole thread about her literally changing the topic of the conversation. Once again, it's fun to laugh at this clown, right? But that's not the story. That's not the story, at least not to me, right? The story is the establishment information war. Now,